Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast. It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got 'em for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post, and returning from special assignment, Erin Evernham alongside. How are you?
I'm doing well. Missed you guys last week.
Yeah, missed you. Ashley and I hung out a little bit, had a good time talking to some folks, and really had a great time, but good to see you again. Everything well in Camp Evernham? Is it all good?
All is well, you know, busy, chaotic, and Kate's out of school for the summer, but all good.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. What a weekend of motorsports and racing and everything. Sprint car racing, and obviously we're going to talk a lot about that, was bonkers.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was insane. We're at such a good time in sprint car racing now. We really, truly are. But obviously the headline story, one of our sprint car guys, Kyle Larson, his Twitter post was depressing.
Oh, my gosh. I know.
I mean, and I get it.
I get it, too.
It did not go as planned at all.
No. I mean, but his post, it seemed like he's just so hard on himself about that pit road speeding. I mean, gosh, I like broke my heart. You know, there's so much buildup to this 1,100 miles. He gets rain delayed, and then he flies all the way here and can't even get in the car here. And it was like kind of a...
Yeah, it was. It sucked. It really did. It just did. We all understand that. And then his post, and I'm like, you know, the best part about this whole Indy 500 double thing was Justin Allgaier. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just is. And I think it's... I was listening to some stuff. I was listening to some stuff today, not related to motorsports, but NBA player and commentator Bill Walton passed away this weekend, and I guess he was just phenomenal. And they were talking about just sports are supposed to be joy. Sports are supposed to be happy. Sports are supposed to be fun. And Bill Walton lived his life that way. I'd probably seen some snippets of him calling games or doing crazy stuff, but that's it. And I'm thinking sports are supposed to be happy, but then you have it overlaid with Kyle Larson and sad. Yeah. And it just is. Sports are supposed to be happy. They're supposed to bring us joy, but there are times when competition doesn't go the right way, and it stinks. And it really does.
And to be as competitive as Kyle Larson is, or any of these drivers, you have to have that level of passion. And I, as depressing as that tweet or whatever you want to call it, Instagram, all those posts, it showed how human he was and how much he really cares about it. To me, it showed his real passion for motorsports and how disappointed he was. I agree.
I agree with that too. And it's something that we've been so fortunate around here with Kyle's Wing Nation career.
Yep.
I mean, we're the first ones that ever had him on when he won the stinking Trophy Cup, the kid calling from school. And so we've known that, we've seen that. We spent 2020 with him. Well, you know, the year when he was booted out, we were there were months we were the only ones he ever talked to. Yep. We get that, but it's then he gets going, and then all this other stuff gets going on, and then you see it again, and you're like, man, this guy just really does get it. He really does get it, and he really does hurt. And I hate it for him. You know, it's like, you know, I don't know. It just is. But it was wild. You know, it's like the emotion of, I don't know how closely you watch Port Royal. The emotion of that caution when Sunshine's going boogity past Danny. Now, it depends on who you are. I saw some people said that's the greatest caution in the history. I saw other people saying that's the worst caution in the history. Now, I'm content Danny cuts back under him and we have a drag race to the finish. I don't think it's Sunshine got the lead, but it was just fascinating stuff.
It was.
Let's get into it. The sprint car racing was awesome. And the rain delay at Charlotte allowed me to dial up my flow racing and watch the last 10 or 15 laps of the Weikert Memorial. Unreal racing.
Yeah, it was.
Unreal racing. It really was. Port Royal is 10 of 10 on a regular basis, and they were 20 of 10. So Steve Steinley, I know you're the one that manages that track up there. Steve Steinley gets an attaboy because that racetrack from bottom to top was insane. And Danny was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's fascinating to me because everyone's like, biggest win of Danny's career. And I'm like, biggest purse of Danny's career. This guy's a national Open champion also. So it's the second big win, huge win of Danny's career. Really, really cool stuff it was. But Erin, that was a fantastic battle.
It really was. I mean,
Macri up top, Macri where Macri is.
Yeah.
I mean, and Sunshine there. I mean, it was just insane.
It was. And it was interesting to hear afterwards, Danny talked about how they focused on running the middle to the bottom, and he didn't want to have to bang around the wall the whole time and be, cautious of making a mistake, but it made for an awesome race. Really did. And Danny, and of course, and we're going to talk to Danny, okay? So Danny's one of our guests here today. We're going to talk to him, but to win the Weikert race, to win $75,000, the trophy, all of that. And Danny had a heck of a weekend. Friday night, he won 10 grand at Williams. Only 10 grand at Williams Grove on Friday night. Yeah. I mean, just he had that Weikert car just rolling. It was the tribute to John Trone. And so Danny got the weekend off on Friday with 10 grand and on Sunday 75 grand. An $85,000 weekend is all. And and everyone was like, oh, he had this big dry spell of winning races. It had been since like April 14th. But for Danny, he did have some unfortunate races for him. But it sounds like, obviously, not only by the results, but his interviews, they figured out what they had going wrong in the car. Exactly. So 5 wins on the season for Danny. The podium from the Weikert Memorial was Danny Dietrich, Tyler Courtney, Rico Abreu. World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. They were at Atomic Friday night. David Gravel picked up the win. He got by Brady Bacon on lap 8, held off all challengers to pick up his win. Yeah, 96th career World of Outlaw win. That is unbelievable. Really, truly is. And Atomic is the 49th track he has won a World of Outlaw race at. That's almost more surprising of a number. I mean, there's so much diversity in the tracks they go to. Yeah, you're like, okay, he's won, what did we say, 96. Okay, but did he win 10 of them here? Did he have like the California bull rings were his style, or the half miles were his style? I think gravel is a racetrack is his style. And he did really, really good. Carson Macedo, Buddy Kofoid were your podium there. Right back the next night. And Sheldon picked up his 5th World of Outlaw win of the season. Last year, I think he had 3 for the year. Yeah. Sheldon's looking really, really good. That's for sure. He absolutely is. His interview after the race was interesting, too, because he had a rough Friday night. And he said, it seems like that's our season. We're winning, or we're putting a new car together. Yep. Kind of crazy. Yeah, was running third when he hit the wall and flipped on Friday night. 39th career win. A Stenhouse Junior Marshall Racing 40th career World of Outlaw win. That's a pretty good number. Yeah, it is for owners. I've talked to Richard many times, and he said, man, I was just hoping one day to field a World of Outlaw team. Yeah. And here they are 40 wins later. Really cool. Some familiar names: Sheldon, Buddy Kofoid, Carson Macedo. Yeah, very familiar names. Yep. World of Outlaws last night. I watched this thing. I had this baby on from beginning. I had this from Wade's World when Connor Wade was in the museum. I had the pre-race show on. All right, we tuned in a little later. We caught heat races. Yeah, all the way to the end. The Rick Ferkel tribute race, they did such a nice job. Fremont did a nice job. They had one of Rick Ferkel's cars there. Did a really nice job with it. Carson Macedo, only his 2nd win of the season, but Erin, he's been close, though. Yeah, he has. I mean, they're always close. And I thought Fremont was a tricky track. I mean, Fremont is typically slick bottom to top, and it is hard to get around. But, man, with all the rain they've had and storms, they tore up some equipment last night. Yeah, I was like, I think they said at one point they had 12 flips, 9 red flags, 12 flips. I posted on Twitter, on our Twitter account, when did they move Fremont to California? Yeah. Because it was a cowboy. Well, I think John Gibson said that it was the most flips in a World of Outlaw evening or something like that. It's crazy. That's for sure. Yeah. Carson Macedo, David Gravel bounced back. David on Saturday night at Atomic just ran into a lap car. Yeah, he took all wild. It was wild. And I'm watching this, and again, and I qualify everything I say here on Wing Nation with, I've never driven a car. Until we win the Sprint Car Hall of Fame sprint car. But I've never driven a sprint car, and I'm watching David wheel it in there, and I'm like, and people are like, damn lap cars. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. And then I heard David, and David said, I think it surprised him. It was, it did. And I get that. You get that, especially people you don't race. And you think about the decisions they're making and the speed that they're making those decisions.
Yep.
I mean, he's pretty perfect, but not everyone. Can't make every decision
David
perfect.
bounced back for a second-place run. Cole Macedo was third there on last night. Houston's 2 big nights of racing, 2 really cool stories. Dayson Persley, and I think we're going to be able to – we tried to dial up Dayson for today, but he is in a plane. So we wish him well in his flying adventures, the way flying is these days.
Yeah.
Dayson Persley, his 5th 410 start, only his 2nd start in the Deuce 5, the 25 car, and he won at Huset's.
Such a neat story.
Yeah. I mean, remember 5 years ago? 5 years ago, he was learning how to walk.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very scary accident he had.
Yep. So Persley, Kerry Madsen, Jade Hastings. Last night, we were back. I'm sorry, Cracker? He is good for next week. So we will have Dayson Persley on next week here on the program. All right. Last night, how about this one? I bet you they're still partying. TK picked up the win, led flag to flag. 2nd win of the season with the Lunstra car. And TK was just ripping around Houston. I watched part of this last night, but then I decided a good night's sleep was going to win out. But TK wheeling and dealing through lap traffic.
Good to see him back in victory lane.
Yeah, it really is. It really truly is. 2nd win of the season. Chase Randall and Dayson Persley followed it up with a 3rd place run. Other winners, Brandon Spithaler. We're going to talk to Brandon, not only about the win at Lernerville, but we're also going to talk to him. Western Pennsylvania Speed Week is coming up. And I want to know what Brandon is doing because, like, I go to Williams Grove, and there he was earlier this year. It's like, where in the wide world of sports are you racing? I want to find out what his plan is, and he's a really, really good guy. Chase Randall won Knoxville. Trey Starks won Skagit. Twin features at Fremont on Saturday night. Zane DeVault won both of them. And the fair race at Silver Dollar, it was DJ Netto getting the win. Great weekend of sprint car racing.
Busy weekend.
Busy weekend, that is for sure. We do need to step away. When we come back, Danny Dietrich joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. And let's go right straight to the Sage Fruit Hotline. The big winner this past weekend, not once, but twice. Of course, one of them was really, really big. The other one was really big. Danny Dietrich joins us. Hello, Danny. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are well. Danny, here we're 36 hours after Victory Lane at Port Royal, the Weikert Memorial. What's your thoughts? What's your feeling? Your emotion like? Where are you at right now?
Ready to go to Grandview and get racing again. We had a good time yesterday. We kind of spent Sunday night there, partying at Port Royal for a little while, and things kind of died down. I felt kind of early for Sunday, but the weather, it rained late there Sunday night at Port, and kind of just shut things down a little bit. But yesterday we had a good day in the shop here, and had Gary come out, and we had a group of us here. We cooked out and worked on the race car and watched the Outlaws, and just had a great relaxing day, just like any other day, really.
That sounds awesome. Danny, let's talk about the race. You know, the last 5 laps, quite exciting. You had that restart where Tyler got by you. Caution came back out. I listened to your interview with Jeremy Elliott, and you talked about you learned from that whatever move that was or your restart. What did you do differently on that last restart? Because you just took off from him.
I just tried to open up my entries and try and carry more mile per hour. We were really good in the middle of the racetrack, and I kind of was, I would say, cheating the middle a little bit and run a little lower than I probably needed to or wanted to or should have, and I just kind of told myself, hey, open your entry back up and float the middle a little longer, and just try and make more speed. Really, our car was much better up a little bit than tight on the bottom, and I kind of got a little too protective there, before Tyler had gotten by me, and watching the video, it kind of shows that, where I just was running a little too low for what my car was liking, and told myself I just need to move up, and carry, like I said, carry a little more mile per hour, and really that was kind of it, and I don't know, who knows, nobody's gonna know, but racing Tyler's tough, and you don't know if I don't know if I'd have got back by him off of 4 or not. I think I would have. We were carrying a lot of speed off turn 4. Really, 4 was much better for me, even more so than 2 was. So you like to think that you're gonna win anyway, but we'll never know. The way it played out it seemed pretty perfect to me.
Yeah, I am sure. Yeah. I am sure. I had you cutting back under him a drag race to the line. That's what I had there, and I depending on your car was reacting and where he was at as well. I want to talk a little bit about that racetrack because Danny, and we've talked about this. There was an era where if you weren't right rear on the wall, you were probably not going to run for the win. Steve Stimley, they had that track, so you had a multitude of lanes to pick from.
Yeah. I mean, it was phenomenal. I rolled around after the B-Main, looked at the racetrack, and Spencer Baster was rolling on his four-wheeler as well, rolling around there looking at it, and I pulled up next to him. I said, boy, it's pretty treacherous up there on the top, and he said he agreed, and I told him, well, this is what you would call a $75,000 racetrack. I mean, it had a lot of diversity in it. The top wasn't going to be easy by any means to race. And obviously running the bottom or middle at Port Royal is never easy as well. There's a lot of patience that goes into that, and running the fence is completely the opposite. You got to have no patience and be willing to just be in full send mode. So, each one of them's kind of live by the sword, die by the sword, whether you're going to run through the middle or run the top the whole race.
Danny, you talked after the race about how I'm sure after you went out and looked at the track, you kind of made the decision to set the car up to run the middle, the bottom. How difficult is it to make that decision when you want to have the flexibility to move around the track if you needed or need to? How do you, obviously you said the top looked treacherous, but it's got to be a fine line to be able to still move around a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes down to what you're more comfortable doing, and we've had a really, really good car there all year running through the middle. Probably what I consider maybe the best car at Port Royal, and I I thought it was great. We weren't really talked about going into this weekend as a contender, because we just, other than the first 2 weeks up there, we weren't really quite where we needed to be with the car we were having trouble with at the time. And so we kind of flew under the radar, but we knew we had a really good car, and the things we've been doing were way different than we've done honestly for years now. We haven't done anything like what we're doing to the race car now, and it works so well that Jake and I have a lot of confidence in this race car running through the middle at Port Royal, and I knew that Lance wasn't in the show, and honestly he's one of the guys I really idolize and I've studied his car a lot over the years when he was in the 69K and how he could run through the middle and search and be so good. And just decided, I don't feel like anybody was going to be a middle dominant race car up front. And we decided we were just going to focus on running the middle to bottom and try and make it work. And that's what we did. We just completely sold out on running that area of the racetrack compared to running the top.
Danny, when you talk about doing something completely different than you have in past years, does that have to do with the change of the wicker bill or the tires? Like, what has led you to try something totally different?
Just feel, just the feeling of the car, just trying to give it what it needs and giving it, the drive and the side bite that comes with balance, and trying to obviously get the most side bite out of the race car is pretty tough because usually you get side bite, you can give up forward drive. And, we've been able to capitalize on this race car having a good feel to it all year that we've been able to balance it out for both sides of it and have a lot of both, a lot of forward drive, a lot of side bite, especially at Port Royal. And, we changed our car, style, kind of a little bit over the way, the type of car we run from Maxim over the wintertime. We went to Penske shocks and worked with Dave Reedy. And we've done a couple of little things. We have our motor program from Adam over at Ott Racing Engines. And this is where I said over the wintertime when we changed our whole program around, we really did. Shocks and chassis and motor program is different than what it was last year. And this is what we wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do is get our program to this level where we can compete for these $75,000 to win shows and 50 and more, and hopefully we can continue to do it going forward, including tonight yet at Grandview.
Yeah, 20 grand tonight. It's like we don't even want to sleep on that one, that's for sure. Danny, Todd Weikert, the Weikert family has been an integral part. I don't know how it started with you guys, but it ended up not only as a sponsor, but a friendship, partnership on the race, partnership at the event. The satisfaction of seeing all that Todd puts into it, the weekend that you guys all plan, has to be really, really cool to take his money and keep it at home there, if you will, or keep it within Gary Kaufman Racing. Just describe the weekend and describe what this has been like, this relationship you've had with the Weikert family.
It's been great. I mean, I'm ready for the next pool day with Todd and Lori and the family. We enjoy having our get-togethers as friends more than we like to hang out the racetrack, I would say. But without the racetrack, we probably wouldn't be the friends that we are. Man, I mean, they're great people, and it's not about taking Todd's money as much as it is just winning that race for him, and in front of he wants nothing more than to pack that place at Port Royal Speedway, for that weekend. We're trying to, including myself, we're trying to just build that thing up and up and up, and there's only so much you can do for an event or a one-day event or two-day event. But he keeps pouring everything he's got into it, and I can't thank him, and hopefully the racers, approach him and thank him for everything he's done. But more importantly, I know if he was on the line with me right now, he'd want to thank all the fans for coming out. So anybody listening, I want to thank everybody for coming out over the weekend and supporting what desire Todd has and trying to make this weekend so big. So hats off to all of them for coming out and making it what it is. So looking forward to another year next year. Probably I would say the same thing. I don't know if it'll get, definitely, I wouldn't think it'd get smaller. So if anything, it'll get bigger. You never know.
Danny, what was the celebration like after the race based off the crowd reaction to Victory Lane? And I think every interview I saw you in after the race, you had a beer in your hand. So what was the celebration like after?
It was honestly, it was probably pretty tame. I think, it could have been it should have been way more out of hand. But it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty humbling. It was kind of hard to have many beers, and kind of full blown celebrate. We're kind of overwhelmed and with all the fans there in the pit area, and kind of humble as well to see all the support. And I did a few interviews and finally said I'll do this one last one with a guy standing there for Area Auto Racing News. And I said after that I'm done. I'm doing another one, and we're just going to enjoy the moment. So. We probably had about 100 people around the race car, and we hung out till it was going to rain. Like I said, it rained and kind of dampered the party a little bit. And then, we kind of moved to the commercial building and watched USITs and hung out with Steve Falkins and Todd Weikert, and Steve O'Neill and some other people that were there and friends. And then just kind of trickled off, and I kind of worked my way over. Cotto went to bed. I kind of worked my way over there to his camper. He went back to his camper, and I just went over and thanked him for everything he done myself, and slowly we just got out of there. It was pretty easy night, really.
Where's the trophy going?
Well, Gary's got a bull down here at the fruit market. I got a bull at my house, and I got to call Todd today, and I'm probably going to order another one for Jake because
oh yeah,
man, I tell you, he works his butt off, and we had some great communication under that red flag, and we did just a little bit of work. We already had a really good car, and I really didn't want to see the caution at all. I was kind of hoping it would just keep going the way it was, but the communication between Jake and I is really probably what won the race, along with the rest of the crew. Just knowing what to do in certain situations and listening to me or not listening to me. I told them to put X amount of fuel in the car, and they put an extra gallon in, and that's all we had left. So thank goodness for them too as well. It's a big team effort, but Jake's been around for a lot of years, and we're getting with this package we got, I think me and him are just hitting on all 8 cylinders right now.
Yes, indeed. You referenced it earlier. You don't get you got a chance to celebrate a little bit at the shop, but the party is over. You're only as good as your last race. You got another one tonight at Grandview. 20 grand to win tonight. How you feeling? How you feeling about Grandview tonight?
Probably not as good as Port Royal, but I mean, still pretty good. We just our track record at Grandview probably isn't as good, but we know how to win there. So we'll go see. It's. I would say Grandview's not necessarily quite right up my alley, but we can make it be up my alley for a night or so. So we'll go, damn it, we'll go do everything we can to get a win net tonight. And, we don't have any doubt. We just know that our odds are maybe a little less in favor tonight for us. But that's okay because, we've gone plenty of places and won where we weren't the favorite. So
yep.
It is what it is. We'll just go give it everything we got and do our best and keep on rolling.
$20,000 would probably make it your favorite place for the night, isn't it? Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I can. If we can do it for about 24 hours, make it my favorite place, that'd be great.
Danny, so happy for you personally, so happy for you professionally. I love when Gary climbed up on the wing and did a wing dance, and everybody. I know how special that event is to all of everybody on your program. Congratulations. We'll be following along tonight on Flow Racing to see what happens at Grandview and on throughout the season. We'll talk to you, I'm sure, but congrats again, and thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yep, thank you guys, and thank all the fans for tuning in.
Yes, indeed. We do appreciate the fans for tuning in. I want to echo that crowd at Port Royal was bonkers. I mean, and I know Todd and Danny and Steve O'Neill and everyone.
Yeah.
Man, they had to be really happy before that feature rolled.
Yeah, for sure.
Let alone the way the feature rolled out and ended for the Weikert crew.
For the posse.
So, yes, and for the posse. Mm-hmm. Yes, and we had a lot of questions about the posse as well. Yeah. And they kind of put that away as well. So congratulations to Danny Dietrich. Okay, let's move a little further west. We are going to joined by Brandon Spithaler. He'll join us next on the program, the winner Friday night at Lernerville.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go back to the Sage Fruit hotline. Joining us fresh off from a trip to Victory Lane, his second win of the season Friday night at Lernerville, and a whole bunch of racing in the past and a whole bunch of weekend racing coming up as well. Brandon Spithaler joins us. Hello, Brandon. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It is great to catch up with you. It's been a while since we chatted. I think I was just talking to Erin. I think it was 2019. I know we had you on because I watched your win race up at Mercer back then and been following along with you. Picked up the win on Friday night at Lernerville from 8th to 1st. Tell us first off just about that win on Friday night.
It was a good one. We had to start 8th because you get docked for winning, and we won opening night, and then we didn't go to Lernerville the following week. So I think Flick had to start 9th, and I started 8th because of that, and so we both got docked for winning a race. And, came from 8th and was really good in the slick. I had the car really, really hooked up. I mean, I was very pleased with it. It was a good momentum builder going into Western PA Speed Week, and it was, good to bring home the win.
Brandon, you also had a 4th place with the World of Outlaws at Atomic Speedway, and I mean, to me, sometimes a top 5 with the World of Outlaws is like a huge victory. Talk about that night and just the momentum that you have right now.
Yeah, that was that was actually at Attica, but we had a really good. I mean, going into the night to think that we were going to be able to pull off a top 5 run. I mean, we've had strong runs there before. We had a good performance going in 2021 where we led a lap and was running up front and ran good in the dash and stuff. But to put a whole night together to actually, come pretty close to a podium. We raced really hard to get into 4th, and by then tracking down Baylog for 3rd didn't quite pan out, but still I'm definitely proud of the whole team and everything that we've built over the years to have a small family owned team to put that together and run 4th was awesome.
Yeah, and that was back on May 17th at Attica Raceway Park. And nobody goes to a racetrack to finish fourth. We all understand that, Brandon. You're going there to win every time you go. But when you go against the World of Outlaws or you roll into high limit racing event, a top 5 has got to be really, really rewarding for you and your small family team.
Yeah, it was definitely something to hang our hat on. I mean, in all things considered, we've won a lot of, local shows over the years and fast races and things and some decently paying shows on that kind of level. But I would almost rank that fourth place run is almost, as far as a resume builder, maybe more impressive than most, if not all, the wins that I have to my credit.
Yeah, it's certainly impressive. Brandon, we've seen you kind of all over the place this year. I made a trip to Williams Grove. It seems like traveling a little bit more. Is there a goal for that? Is it just trying to get out and see new tracks, new places? It just seems like it's neat to see you running different tracks these days.
Well, so that was only the 4th time I'd ever been to Williams Grove. I'd gone there. My father had taken me there tons of times, growing up, and I'd always liked the idea of going there. And when we were on the All-Star Tour in 2017 and 2018, we raced some there, but I hadn't been back since. And with all the rainouts that were happening, and it was early in the season, so we weren't going to get handicapped for a regular show, so we figured we'd take the opportunity and try to get some laps. And we went out there and won a heat race and had come from 9th to 6th until we heard an engine that night. So we had a promising run. We at least were moving forward while we were on the racetrack, and so that was something that we didn't tow out there and embarrass ourselves by any means, and kind of did fairly well. And so maybe come the end of the season, if we have some laps on an engine or something, maybe we'll end up with a National Open and see how we can stack up against those guys or something.
Yeah. No, I was there that night and watched you win that heat race and do that, and it was just great to see you at the track and doing that. You just referenced it. You just mentioned it. You're getting ready to get real busy. 5 straight nights of racing. Western Pennsylvania Speedway coming up. Starts tomorrow night at Mercer, and then over to Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania, and then to Lernerville, then to Sharon, and on to Tri-City. How are things? How are you stocked up? You stocked up on tires? You stocked up on snacks? You stocked up on everything ready to go?
We stocked up on some tires when we were at Fremont last night, but we ran Fremont with the Outlaws last night, and then trucked home, and went to work. Got to go to work tomorrow, and then we'll maintenance the car tonight and get everything ready to go, get it loaded up. So as soon as I get out of work, we can go run Mercer. And I took a couple of days off for the rest of the week, and we'll run all of Western PA Speed Week, and I'm looking forward to that. I think, just being around that area, I have a lot of laps at all those racetracks, and we're fairly strong at most of them. I'm looking forward to it. I think we can put together, we have the capability to put together some good runs and compete for some wins, hopefully.
Brandon, you mentioned taking some time off from work. What's the day job?
I'm a mechanical engineer. I actually sell mechanical seals for pumps. I work for John Crane. So if there's anybody that, is in my sales territory that wants to buy a mechanical seal, I'm your guy.
Well, except for Thursday and Friday, you'll be doing Western Pennsylvania Speed Week, of course. Call today or tomorrow. Exactly. Yeah. You had Erin at engineer. You had
a fellow engineer.
Yep. That is cool. Really, really cool. Big picture stuff. What's down the road? Where are you going from here? We talk about Western Pennsylvania Speed Week. Obviously, that's survival of the fittest. What are some of the highlights of the rest of the season that you have laid out for yourself?
Well, we plan on, we're going to roll there's a week off, and then we're going to roll right into, we plan on running all of Ohio Speed Week. Oh. And so that'll keep us busy in June, considerably, and that'll probably be our busiest month. But outside of that, we're currently sitting second in fast points, and we're going to take that as it comes. as it stands now, we're going to follow the whole thing for points and see how it goes. And barring any, if we have a bunch of bad runs or we tear something up or something and we're not in contention for the championship any longer, then maybe we'll go a different direction. But as of now, you'll see us the plan is at all the fast shows, and then we're going to run all the. We'll be at the Doty. We'll be at the Don Martin Silver Cup at Lernerville. We'll be at the second Sharon Outlaw Show. Nice. So there's a handful of outlaw shows left, and all the high limit shows at Lernerville, I believe. And from there, we'll see what we got left on the docket. It'll end up being probably close to 50 shows when it's all said and done.
Boy,
awesome.
That is excited for your small family team. Excited to watch. Got a couple wins this season. I know there'll be more on the way. And I love your venturing out. I love that High Limits rolls through town. World of Outlaws roll through town. You get a chance to check in with those folks as well. Brandon, always a pleasure to catch up with you. Congratulations on that win at Lernerville. And thanks for joining us here this time on Wing Nation.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
There we go. Brandon Spithaler joining us there, one of the great racers from Western Pennsylvania. What a neat thing. Western Pennsylvania Speed Week is on my, I'm going to get to some of those races one of these years. I really like that. I really like the plans.
It's on the bucket list.
Yes, it is on the bucket list. We need to step away. When we come back, more Wing Nation.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here, talking sprint cars. We love it. That is for sure. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum birthday calendar later this week. Deb Snyder, Davey Brown has a birthday coming up on Friday. Carl Kinzer, Don Branson, Steve Kinzer has a birthday on Sunday. And today would have been the birthday of 1999 inductee Eddie Sachs. Eddie was born in 1927, served the military here in our state of North Carolina, where someone took him to a race. Huh. Erin, sometimes when people get taken to a race, their life changes.
Yepper. Put the hook right in.
Put the hook right in, and he was a very determined race car driver. Went to India he moved to Allentown. Allentown, I found, is a really, really race-centric city.
It sure was, especially in that era.
Yeah, absolutely. Very determined racer. He went to Indy 3 times, did not qualify before he finally made it in. 1958 USAC Midwest Point Champion included. In that was the Hoosier 100 win. 1961, he finished second in the Indy 500. 1962, he finished third, but, 1964, he lost his life in a crash at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and lost his life there, but his life is forever enshrined at one sprint car place, Knoxville, Iowa, at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. And Erin, that's such a special spot, and it's great for folks to be remembered, to be memorialized. Those who lost their lives in racing, those who just had great success in racing as well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you ever get the chance and you're out in Iowa or in Knoxville, it's one of my favorite places.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And you can become a member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame at sprintcarhof.com. That's www.sprintcarhof.com. Erin, we don't have to wait.
Ugh, I love it. I love some midweek racing.
This has been crazy. And here we go. High Limit Racing tonight at Grandview, the Midweek Money Series, $20,000 to win. 40 cars right now on their entry list, and you can catch it on Flow Racing. And then tomorrow night starts the Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants Western Pennsylvania Speed Week.
Yep. Wednesday, Michaels, Mercer's Raceway. Thursday, Pittsburgh, PA Motor Speedway. That's on the Cushion. Friday, Lernerville for the Gene Lynch Classic. It's on Dirt TV. Saturday, Sharon Speedway on Dirt Vision. And Sunday, Tri-City Raceway Park.
Over $100,000 in posted prize money, contingencies, point fund. That point fund is $13,500. They have really done a nice job with this Western Pennsylvania Speed Week. A couple of North Carolinians going to be racing up there. Lance Moss, Lance was at Fremont last night, and Eric Riggins. They're going up to run, and it's what I love with Western Pennsylvania Speed Week. I think Dylan Norris is going to run some of the races from Central PA. Gives folks a really, really good back, some new tracks, traveling around, the challenges of traveling around a little bit to build your race team up. Little taste of it, that's for sure. So it is going to be fun, that is for sure. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants, Western Pennsylvania Speed Week. All week long, starting Wednesday night, tomorrow night at Mercer Speedway. World of Outlaw North Side Easy Drink Sprint Cars, Beaver Dam, the Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial Saturday night, Erin, 20 grand to win. That's going to be a big one.
Sure is. You got the Kubota High Limit Racing Friday at Lawrenceburg and Saturday at the Butler Battlegrounds. I know you like to say that one. Oh,
the Mace Thomas Classic up there at Butler. It's going to be awesome. It really is. King of the West is at Placerville for the Dave Bradway Memorial. Oh, the money in Pennsylvania that Danny Dietrich will be chasing. 10,000. Well, I think Williams, this is really sad. Okay. Williams Grove on Friday night is paying 8 grand to win. I didn't even list it because it's whatever. Williams Grove is paying 8 grand to win, folks. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's pretty sporty.
You didn't even list it.
Lincoln, 10,119 to win the Steve Smith tribute race. Fingers crossed, Erin. Fingers crossed. If I'm able to get to St. Louis and grab a car, I may hit Jacksonville.
Nice.
On Friday night. Weekly 410 racing at that little bull ring.
Good for
you. Jacksonville, Illinois. Fingers crossed. I'm working on that. So, got to make sure I got it right.
If the weather cooperates. I mean, I'm amazed how many races we got in this weekend given the crazy weather we've had in the United States. The tornado warnings are like everywhere anyhow.
That storm that wiped Larson out in Indy is the same storm that wiped him out in Charlotte.
I couldn't believe that.
When I saw that one
giant.
We have meteorologists, Brad Panovich or Newdorf or whoever it is. They said it's the same storm. I typed on X. I go, what? So the same storm that clobbered him up there clobbered him here, too.
Yeah.
Mother Nature. Got to get your act
together,
girl. Come on. Come on. So it is going to be a big, big weekend of sprint car racing. That is for sure. We are grateful for Danny Dietrich and Brandon Spithaler for joining us here on the program. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. More important than all of that, though, thank you for joining us this time here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.